Hello guys, today I will tell about the most optimal way to trade with prop firms, and the blueprint will be available in the description. So let's start. So first of all, in order to get our first payout to start scaling eventually, like we need capital for that. And the easiest way to get a payout is to trade with Lucid 25k or 50k flex account. So what does flex mean? It means that we have no requirement that we need to hit in terms of profit before taking a payout. We only need to have 5 non-consecutive winning days above 150, and the minimal payout request is $500. So on paper there is no buffer that we need to maintain in order to take payouts, but there still kinda is. So we can only take 50% of profit, and the minimal payout is $500. So as you understand, we need around $1,000 of profit in order to take a payout. It's still way easier than it is with pro accounts and the flex evals. Even though they have consistency target, you will not have consistency target on funded, so you can catch a runner and achieve the profit more quickly, and the accounts themselves are cheaper. So once the payout is taken, you can switch to Lucid Pro and then switch to Lucid Direct. Honestly, I'm not a fan of them, but Lucid Pro slightly more expensive, but it's much easier to maintain them, because with Lucid accounts there is a problem that you need to, after you take a payout, the drawdown shifts to your initial balance plus 100, and it's really not easy to maintain after you take a payout. But we need to take payouts just to get more accounts. So you start with either 1 or 5 Lucid accounts, you take a payout, you get more Lucid accounts, and you take a payout again. So once this is done, you switch to pro account. Then you have two options: either tradeify 50k select flex. They have an update which now shows that we have no subscription fees, the same as with Lucid. So the Lucid's main advantage was having no time cap in order to pass an eval, and now the same is for tradeify. So you can take as much time as you want in order to pass an eval. So, and the other option you have is My Funded Futures Builder 50k account. So they recently released this plan. It's super cheap. Or you can also just pass it in one trade on use. And the payout rules are the same as for other accounts, almost the same as for flex accounts. So you should consider this one, but you should be way more aggressive with this one, because it has a monthly fee. So after you achieve that and you have tradeify accounts or My Fund Future Builder accounts, you switch to harder prop firms. We got Take Profit Trader and tradeify Select Daily. TPT is overrated slightly, because with tradeify Select Daily, not Select Flex, you get the same daily payout as with TPT once you trade above the marginal threshold of 52,000, and you can take payout any time of the day without any intraday drawdown, because Take Profit Trader, they have end of day drawdown on evals, but intraday drawdown on their funded accounts, which is terrible in my opinion. So I would stay away from TPT at all, unless you just have nothing else to buy. And you go with tradeify Select Daily 50k. So then after you max out tradeify, MI Funded Futures and Lucid, you can consider these firms. So what I don't like specifically about topstep, because they have not really different rules from tradeify and My Funded Futures. they force you to trade on their stupid platform, and they have been very shady recently. Also, they can just move you, like when you will be one step from a very big payout, they can just move you to live and no payout will be given. At least I've seen something like that happening on X. Apex is also very shady. There were cases when they didn't pay out, so you shouldn't really rely much on them. But with the amount of accounts that you can get with them, you can try them once you already have some income from other firms that were mentioned above. And bulenox, in my personal experience, they always pay out, but only buy them with 90% discount or anything close to it. And you can get up to 11 accounts with them, but the problem is that they will have intraday drawdown with 50k, and also you need, in order to get and slightly above $1,000 payout, you need a total profit on funded of $4,100, because you have minimal payout requirement of, I think, $1,000 or $1,250, and you also have a minimal threshold of 52,000. So yeah, if you, and max payout per 50k is 1,500, so you need 54,000 plus in order to get a payout, which is really a tiring process to achieve that amount. So you just copy bulenox accounts with other prop firms, and you will eventually achieve the payout threshold with them without thinking much about it. So now let's talk about the strategy of how we will risk per each account. So the first principle that we need to consider is expected value, because with it we can model the time. I mean, it's actually the amount of trades, but assuming you take one trade per day, you can model the time to pass an eval. And with 70% win rate and $200 one-to-one risk to reward, it will take you about 2 months in order to pass 50k eval, which is pure torture. So you should be aggressive on your evals. Again, nothing is financial advice. That's just what I think about it. So without being aggressive, you will spend months trying to pass an eval and eventually blow it. So you definitely shouldn't do it. You also should have some income before you approach prop firms, because without any income from a job or a business that you might have, or affiliate marketing, whatever, it will be really difficult for you to sustain right psychological state and risk in order to trade prop firms profitably, because principles of trading live account, in other words, capital preservation, do not really work the same in prop firm environment because of disproportional payoff. So you have to risk at least $400 on 50k account and $200 on 25k account. So basically at least 20% of your drawdown. So with that said, you should aim for low RR trades. For example, 0.75 RR or 1-to-1 RR will, oh my god, what is this? Will work the best, because you can actually even full port if consistency target allows it, like with pro accounts on Lucid. You can full port one high quality 1-to-1 setup and pass an eval in one trade. I mean, it will be slightly above 1-to-1, because even on 25k you need slightly bigger profit target in order to pass. Or you can use the CPI or NFP method. Basically, you set buy and sell stop orders right before the news, and news candles simply passes you an eval. Sometimes it fails, so that's why you need to have an income, because we don't want to be wasting time on passing an eval. Do not treat evals like your live account. That's a lie told by traders that have no idea how to trade prop firms. Again, I wanna say, if you have a mindset that I used to have, that you can simply turn $200 in your bank account into generational wealth with prop firms, no, you can't. You will not, because if you could, you wouldn't have had $200 in your bank account. That's the biggest problem I see today, and I also used to have this mindset that I can in one attempt pass my first ever eval, take a payout and scale from there. No, you should have some sort of side income or savings that directed to prop firms. So now let's talk about how do you approach the funded stage. Here you can downsize. Still, the same formula for expected amount of trades applies, but here we don't not have to rush because we're finally on funded. And if you just start, this is your first time getting funded, then you should trade conservatively and take around 10 to 15% of your total drawdown as a risk. And again, you can target 1-to-1 and leave 1, maybe 2 micros sometimes for a runner. So with that said, how do you risk once you finally get payouts consistently from flex accounts and you get to accounts that have a certain buffer? Before you achieve a certain threshold, for example, 2000 on 50k as a buffer, you risk aggressively. So you risk 20 to 25% of your total drawdown in order to get above this threshold. Once you get above it, you resort to old risk management, so 10 to 15%. Once you take a payout, you simply downsize again to 1-2 micros to get at least $1,000 of drawdown that you can trade with in order to continue scaling your fundeds. Such simple blueprints allowed me and allows other people that I look up to on X to achieve high payout amounts like Lento, etc. These guys, even though they might appear shady, and yes, they get income from affiliate marketing and from their mentorship, they still trade prop firms in a proper way because you have to take them aggressively. If you wanna model the way your path with prop firms will look like, you can simply open my website ufag.fun, and here you can see a prop firm simulator, enter certain variables, and see how your bank account will grow eventually over time. So this was basically it for today. You have received the blueprint, and I hope that you will be able to successfully apply it for your future journey. Leave a comment in the description, suggest some ideas for the further videos. And this was basically it for today. Until the next time, be safe.